Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Elton John. Elton John, born Reginald Kenneth Dwight on March 25, 1947, is a globally celebrated British singer, songwriter, and pianist whose career spans over 5 decades and has had a significant impact on popular music worldwide. Renowned for his flamboyant style, powerful vocals, and remarkable songwriting partnership with Bernie Taupin, Elton John is one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with over 300 million records sold globally. Elton John's career highlights include releasing 7 consecutive #1 U.S. albums between 1972 and 1975, such as Honky Chateau, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. His album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is considered his magnum opus, featuring iconic songs like Benny and the Jets, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and the title track. It went on to sell over 30 million copies worldwide and was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. A prolific hitmaker, Elton had at least one song on the Billboard Hot 100 for 31 consecutive years, 1970-2000, including classics like Your Song, Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man, Crocodile Rock, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which won an Academy Award for Best Original Song from The Lion King. His final tour, Farewell Yellow Brick Road, 2018-2023, became the highest-grossing tour ever at the time, solidifying his legendary status. Throughout his career, Elton John has won numerous awards, including 5 Grammy Awards, an Academy Award, a Tony Award, and a Kennedy Center honor. He is famous for his energetic performances, piano mastery, and iconic stage costumes that made him synonymous with glam rock. In addition to his music, Elton John is recognized for his philanthropic work, particularly with the Elton John AIDS Foundation, dedicated to HIV/AIDS prevention and support worldwide. Cher, born Cheryl Sarkisian on May 20, 1946, is a multi-talented American singer, actress, and entertainer whose career spans more than 6 decades. Known as the Goddess of Pop, Cher's enduring success comes from her dynamic contralto voice, bold fashion sense, and ability to constantly reinvent herself, making her one of the most influential figures in popular culture. Her rise to fame began in the mid-1960s as part of the folk rock duo Sonny and Cher, with the timeless hit I Got You Babe becoming an anthem of the era. Simultaneously, her solo career flourished with hits like Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down, and a string of chart-topping singles throughout the 1970s such as Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves, Half Breed, and Dark Lady. In the late 80s and 90s, she made a powerful comeback with rock and dance pop albums, with notable hits including If I Could Turn Back Time and Believe. The title track of Believe introduced a revolutionary use of auto-tune, sometimes called the Cher effect, becoming one of the best-selling singles of all time. Cher has also enjoyed an acclaimed acting career, earning an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in the romantic comedy Moonstruck, 1987. She was nominated for Oscars for Silkwood, 1983, and received critical praise for roles in Mask, 1985, and The Witches of Eastwick, 1987. On television, her variety shows The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, and Cher became iconic, drawing millions of viewers and showcasing her charisma and wit. As a performer, Cher holds the distinction of achieving #1 hits in the United States across 6 consecutive decades and has sold over 100 million records worldwide. She has received multiple Grammy, Emmy, and Golden Globe awards, as well as the prestigious Kennedy Center honors. Her enduring influence and dedication have solidified her as a cultural icon who transcends music and film. Beyond entertainment, Cher is an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ rights and HIV/AIDS awareness, using her platform to promote social causes passionately. Her life and career have inspired the 2018 jukebox musical, The Cher Show, celebrating her remarkable journey. Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart is a British singer and songwriter born on January 10, 1945, in Highgate, London, England. Known for his distinctive raspy singing voice, Rod has been an influential figure in rock and pop music for over 6 decades. He first gained attention in the 1960s as a member of several bands, including the Jeff Beck Group and Faces before embarking on a highly successful solo career. His breakthrough came with the release of his 1971 album Every Picture Tells a Story, which topped charts in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia. The album featured hits like Maggie May, which became one of his signature songs. Throughout the 1970s and beyond, Stewart released several successful albums, including Never a Dull Moment and Gasoline Alley. His music blends rock, folk, soul, and R&B, showcasing his versatility as an artist. Rod Stewart is renowned for his longevity in the music industry, with a career that continues to this day. He has sold over 120 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling music artists ever. In recognition of his contributions to music, Stewart was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. Beyond music, Stewart has also worked as an actor and philanthropist. He is known for his energetic performances and catchy, heartfelt songs that appeal to multiple generations. Despite challenges throughout his career, Rod Stewart's dedication to his craft has kept him relevant and beloved globally. Diana Ross, passed. Away at the age of 81, Diana Ross is an iconic American singer and actress whose trailblazing career has left an indelible mark on music and popular culture. Born Diana Ernestine Earl Ross on March 26, 1944, in Detroit, Michigan, she rose to stardom as the lead singer of the Supremes, Motown Records' most successful act during the 1960s, and one of history's best-selling girl groups. Ross's journey began in 1959 when she and her friends formed a vocal group initially called the Primettes. After signing with Motown as the Supremes, the group, consisting of Ross, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard, later Cindy Birdsong, went on to achieve 12 #1 hits on the U.S. pop charts. Classics like Baby Love, Stop, In the Name of Love, and Someday We'll Be Together defined an era. As her fame grew, the group was renamed Diana Ross and the Supremes in 1967, signaling her upcoming solo career. Launching her solo career in 1970 with the album Diana Ross, she quickly secured success with hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Ross released numerous albums, including Touch Me in the Morning and Diana, with chart-topping singles such as Love Hangover, Upside Down, and the duet Endless Love with Lionel Richie. She became the female solo artist with the most #1 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 during her peak years. Ross extended her talents into acting, earning critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination for her portrayal of Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues, 1972. Her role showcased her incredible range and led to starring roles in Mahogany, 1975, and The Wiz, 1978, further cementing her status as a multifaceted entertainer. She also won a Tony Award for her one-woman Broadway show, An Evening with Diana Ross. Honored with numerous accolades, including the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, twice, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction as a Supreme in 1988, Kennedy Center honors in 2007, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, Ross's legacy is unparalleled. With over 100 million records sold worldwide, she holds records for chart longevity and hit singles both as part of the Supremes and as a solo artist. Diana Ross remains a beloved cultural icon whose influence spans music, film, fashion, and philanthropy. Truff, a true queen whose voice and spirit continue to inspire generations. Barbra Streisand passed away at the age of 81. Barbra Streisand is an extraordinary American singer, actress, director, producer, and songwriter whose career has spanned more than 6 decades, marked by unprecedented success and influence in multiple entertainment fields. Born Barbra Jones Streisand on April 24, 1942, in Brooklyn, New York, she rose from humble beginnings to become one of the greatest popular singers and one of the most accomplished multi-hyphenate artists in history. Streisand's recording career launched with the release of the Barbra Streisand album in 1963, which won 2 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, making her the youngest artist at the time to receive this honor. Over her career, she has amassed 31 platinum-certified albums, including landmarks like People, 1964, The Way We Were, 1974, Guilty, 1980, and Higher Ground, 1997. She holds the record as the first woman to score 11 #1 albums on the U.S. Billboard 200 and remains the only artist to top the chart in 6 consecutive decades. In addition to her singing success, Streisand made a remarkable mark in film. She won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Funny Girl, 1968, and earned acclaim for roles in Hello, Dolly, 1969, The Way We Were, 1973, and A Star Is Born, 1976, for which she won the Oscar for Best Original Song, Evergreen, becoming the first woman to be honored as a composer. Streisand also broke ground as the first woman to write, direct, produce, and star in a major studio film with Yentl, 1983, which won a Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and earned her a historic Golden Globe for Best Director. Her influence extends beyond entertainment into philanthropy and activism. She founded the Barbra Streisand Women's Heart Center and the Women's Heart Alliance, advancing research and awareness of women's heart disease. Streisand has championed civil rights, women's rights, environmental causes, and voter protection through her Streisand Foundation. Throughout her career, Streisand has been awarded 10 Grammy Awards, including the Lifetime Achievement and Legend Awards, 9 Golden Globes, 5 Emmys, 4 Peabodys, 2 Academy Awards, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Her powerful voice, commanding presence, and trailblazing artistry have made her a symbol of excellence and resilience whose legacy will endure for generations. Dolly Parton passed away at the age of 79. Dolly Parton is an iconic American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, actress, author, and philanthropist best known for her immense influence on country music and popular culture. Born on January 19, 1946, in Sevier County, Tennessee, Parton's remarkable career has spanned over 6 decades and has earned her a place as one of the most honored female country performers of all time. Dolly's rise to fame began in the 1960s as a songwriter and performing artist. Her debut album, Hello, I'm Dolly, 1967, marked the start of a series of successful releases showcasing her distinctive voice and heartfelt lyrics. Her partnership with Porter Wagoner on The Porter Wagoner Show helped establish her early success, with hits like The Last Thing on My Mind. However, Dolly soon set out as a solo artist, achieving chart-topping hits such as Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, and her signature ballad, I Will Always Love You. This particular song, originally written as a farewell to Wagoner, became a timeless classic and was famously covered by Whitney Houston. Throughout her career, Dolly has sold over 100 million records worldwide and has amassed an impressive 25 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. She holds records for 42 top 10 country albums and 110 charted singles, reflecting her prolific output and consistent popularity. Her ability to blend traditional country with pop elements helped her cross over to a broader audience, evidenced by hit singles like 9 to 5, which also showcased her acting talents in the popular film of the same name. Beyond music, Dolly Parton starred in numerous films including 9 to 5, 1980, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, 1982, and Steel Magnolias, 1989, earning critical praise and Golden Globe nominations. Her vibrant personality, warmth, and storytelling have made her beloved both on and off stage. Parton's philanthropic work is equally noteworthy. She founded the Dollywood Foundation, which supports education and literacy programs, including the Imagination Library, which provides free books to children worldwide. Her contributions to music and charitable causes have been recognized through numerous awards, including 11 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, and nominations for 2 Academy Awards and a Tony Award. She received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011 and was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1999. Dolly Parton's legacy is that of a multi-talented artist who transcended country music to become a cultural icon. Her generosity, talent, and enduring relevance continue to inspire millions around the world. Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's story begins with one of Hollywood's most extraordinary secrets, a truth so profound that it would remain hidden for decades and fundamentally shaped the man who would become one of cinema's greatest icons. Born John Joseph Nicholson on April 22, 1937 in Neptune City, New Jersey, Jack's early life was built upon a foundation of well-intentioned deception that would later prove to be both his greatest burden and perhaps his most defining characteristic. The small seaside town of Neptune City, with its working-class atmosphere and tight-knit community, provided the backdrop for Jack's formative years. What he believed to be his family structure was in reality an elaborate construction designed to protect both him and the woman he thought was his sister. Ethel Mae Nicholson, whom Jack knew as his mother, was actually his grandmother. A strong-willed woman who ran a beauty parlor and served as the family's matriarch. The woman Jack believed to be his older sister, June, was in fact his biological mother. A revelation that wouldn't come to light until 1974, when Jack was already an established actor in his late 30s. This family arrangement was born out of the social conventions of the 1930s when unwed pregnancy carried significant stigma. June Nicholson had become pregnant at 17, and rather than face social ostracism, the family made the decision to raise Jack as Ethel Mae's son. The biological father remained a mystery that has persisted throughout Jack's life, with speculation ranging from June's married lover to various other men, but no definitive answer ever emerging. Growing up in this household of strong women, Jack developed many of the characteristics that would later define his screen presence. Ethel Mae was known for her sharp tongue, quick wit, and refusal to back down from anyone. Traits that Jack would inherit and amplify. The beauty parlor became Jack's earliest theater, where he would observe the complex dynamics of human interaction, the gossip, the drama, and the various personas that people adopted. This early exposure to the performative aspects of daily life may have planted the seeds of his future career. Jack's childhood was marked by economic instability, as Ethel Mae struggled to keep the beauty parlor afloat during the Great Depression and its aftermath. The family moved frequently within the Neptune City area, never quite achieving financial security, but always maintaining a sense of dignity and resilience. Jack learned early that charm and personality could often compensate for material lacking, a lesson that would serve him well in Hollywood. School presented its own challenges for young Jack. He was bright but restless, showing more interest in entertaining his classmates than in academic pursuits. Teachers would later remember him as charismatic but undisciplined, someone who could command attention but struggled with authority. His rebellious streak manifested early, and he often found himself in trouble for his irreverent attitude and refusal to conform to expectations. The absence of a stable father figure in Jack's life created a complex relationship with authority and masculinity that would influence his later work. He developed an intense bond with his mother, Ethel May, but also harbored a deep curiosity about his origins that would remain largely unfulfilled. This sense of mystery about his identity would become a recurring theme in his life and career, contributing to his ability to inhabit complex, psychologically ambiguous characters. Despite the deception surrounding his birth, Jack's childhood was not without its joys. He developed a love for movies at an early age, spending countless hours at the local theater, where he would study the performances of actors like James Cagney, Humphrey Bogart, and later Marlon Brando. These early influences would shape his understanding of screen presence and the power of personality in performance. As Jack entered his teenage years, his restless energy and natural charisma began to seek new outlets. He showed little interest in traditional career paths, much to Ethel May's concern, but displayed an innate understanding of human psychology and behavior that would later prove invaluable. His teenage years were marked by a growing sense that his destiny lay somewhere beyond the confines of Neptune City, though he had no clear idea of what form that destiny might take. The foundation of Jack Nicholson's extraordinary life was thus built upon secrets, resilience, and an early understanding that reality is often more complex and mysterious than it appears on the surface. These childhood experiences would provide him with the emotional depth and psychological complexity that would make him one of cinema's most compelling performers. Though the full impact of these early years would not become clear until much later in his life, Jack Nicholson's journey to becoming one of Hollywood's most celebrated actors was neither swift nor conventional. After moving to Los Angeles in the mid-1950s with dreams of stardom, he spent nearly a decade toiling in B-movies and exploitation films before achieving his breakthrough. His early years in Hollywood were marked by small roles in Roger Corman productions, including The Crybaby Killer, 1958, and The Little Shop of Horrors, 1960, where he played a masochistic dental patient in what would become a cult classic. The turning point came in 1969 with Easy Rider, a countercultural masterpiece that captured the spirit of a generation. Originally hired to rewrite the script, Nicholson ended up playing George Hanson, an alcoholic lawyer who joins two bikers on their journey across America. His performance was magnetic, bringing a combination of vulnerability and sharp intelligence to the role that immediately distinguished him from other actors of his generation. The famous campfire monologue about UFOs showcased his ability to find profound truth in seemingly eccentric material, earning him his first Academy Award nomination and establishing him as a major talent. Following Easy Rider, Nicholson's career trajectory accelerated dramatically. In 1970, he delivered a powerhouse performance in 5 Easy Pieces, playing Bobby Dupea, a former classical pianist turned oil rig worker struggling with his identity and class consciousness. The film's famous diner scene, where Bobby's character explodes at a waitress over a simple order modification, became an iconic moment that perfectly captured the frustration and alienation of the era. Nicholson's ability to make Bobby both sympathetic and infuriating demonstrated his mastery of complex, morally ambiguous characters. The Last Detail, 1973, further cemented his reputation as an actor capable of bringing depth to seemingly simple roles. Playing Billy Badass Budusky, a Navy petty officer escorting a young sailor to prison, Nicholson created a character that was simultaneously tough and tender, profane and profound. His naturalistic performance style and improvisational skills brought authenticity to every scene, making the audience care deeply about characters who might otherwise seem unremarkable. However, it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975, that truly established Nicholson as a cinematic legend. His portrayal of Randall Patrick McMurphy, a rebellious patient in a mental institution, was a tour de force that combined his natural charisma with remarkable emotional range. The film swept the Academy Awards, winning Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Nicholson, Best Actress for Louise Fletcher, and Best Adapted Screenplay. McMurphy became an enduring symbol of individual rebellion against institutional oppression, and Nicholson's performance perfectly balanced the character's manic energy with his underlying humanity and tragic fate. The Shining, 1980, showcased another facet of Nicholson's talent: his ability to portray madness and menace with terrifying authenticity. Working under Stanley Kubrick's meticulous direction, Nicholson transformed Jack Torrance from a struggling writer into a homicidal maniac with such gradual precision that the audience could trace every step of his psychological deterioration. The film's most famous scene, where Jack chops through a door with an axe while declaring, "Here's Johnny," became one of cinema's most quoted moments, demonstrating Nicholson's gift for making the horrific seem almost gleefully entertaining. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Nicholson continued to choose roles that challenged both himself and audiences. Terms of Endearment, 1983, showed his romantic leading man capabilities, earning him another Academy Award for his portrayal of Garrett Breedlove, a former astronaut who becomes involved with Shirley Millon's Aurora Greenway. His performance balanced humor and pathos as he navigated a complex relationship while dealing with mortality and loss. Batman, 1989, allowed Nicholson to embrace his dark comedic instincts as the Joker, creating a villain that was both terrifying and entertaining. His interpretation of the character influenced decades of subsequent portrayals, establishing the template for how comic book villains could be both psychologically complex and theatrically engaging. The role also demonstrated his commercial instincts, as he negotiated a deal that included merchandise profits, making him one of the highest-paid actors of the era. A Few Good Men, 1992, gave Nicholson one of his most quotable roles as Colonel Nathan Jessup, whose courtroom explosion, "You Can't Handle the Truth," became embedded in popular culture. Despite limited screen time, his commanding presence dominated the film, showing how his mere appearance could elevate material and create memorable cinematic moments. The culmination of this period came with As Good as It Gets, 1997, where Nicholson played Melvin Oud Dahl, an obsessive-compulsive romance novelist whose life is changed by his relationships with a waitress and his gay neighbor. The role required him to make an initially unlikable character sympathetic without sacrificing the character's essential abrasiveness. His third Academy Award win for this performance proved his continued relevance and artistic growth even as he entered his 60s. As Jack Nicholson entered his 70s, the passage of time began to take its inevitable toll on the actor who had spent decades living life with the same intensity he brought to his most memorable roles. The transition from the seemingly invincible performer of his middle years to an aging man dealing with the realities of physical and cognitive decline became one of the most poignant chapters of his life story. The first significant health concerns began to surface in the early 2000s, when those close to Nicholson noticed subtle changes in his behavior and cognitive function. Friends and colleagues reported that he sometimes appeared confused during conversations, struggled to remember names and details that would have come easily to him in previous years, and occasionally seemed disoriented in familiar settings. These early signs were initially dismissed as normal aging, or perhaps the result of his legendary lifestyle of excess, but they gradually became more pronounced and concerning. Memory issues became increasingly apparent as Nicholson aged. Reports from film sets during his later projects, including The Bucket List 2007 and How Do You Know 2010, suggested that he was having difficulty remembering lines and staying focused during long shooting days. Directors and co-stars, out of respect for his legendary status, often worked around these challenges, but it became clear that the sharp, quick-witted performer, who had once been known for his improvisational skills and photographic memory, was struggling with cognitive decline. The speculation about Nicholson's condition intensified when he began making fewer public appearances and seemed less comfortable in interviews. His once razor-sharp wit appeared dulled, and he sometimes seemed to lose track of conversations or repeat himself. While his representatives never officially confirmed any specific diagnosis, medical professionals and observers familiar with the symptoms suggested that he might be experiencing early-stage dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Physical health challenges also mounted during this period. Nicholson had always been a larger-than-life figure, but his lifestyle choices over the decades began to catch up with him. Years of heavy smoking, drinking, and the general excesses associated with his Hollywood lifestyle had taken their toll on his cardiovascular system. He experienced several minor health scares related to his heart. Those specific details were kept private, out of respect for his family's wishes. Weight management became another ongoing concern as Nicholson aged. The actor, who had once maintained his physique with relative ease, found it increasingly difficult to stay in shape, and his appearance in his later public outings showed the effects of both aging and the medications often associated with treating various age-related conditions. His characteristic grin remained, but it was often shadowed by the visible effects of his health struggles. The most heartbreaking aspect of Nicholson's health decline was how it affected his ability to do the work he loved most. Acting had been not just his profession, but his passion and primary means of self-expression for over 5 decades. The realization that his cognitive abilities were no longer reliable enough for the demands of memorizing scripts and maintaining character consistency was reportedly devastating for him. Several planned projects were quietly canceled or postponed, as it became clear that he could no longer meet the rigorous demands of film production. Sleep disorders also became a significant issue, a common problem among elderly individuals, but particularly challenging for someone who had spent decades maintaining irregular schedules. Insomnia and disrupted sleep patterns further complicated his cognitive issues and made it difficult for him to maintain the energy levels necessary for any professional commitments. Despite these challenges, Nicholson showed remarkable grace in dealing with his declining health. Rather than fighting publicly against the inevitable changes, he gradually withdrew from the spotlight, spending more time with family and close friends. This period of his life was marked by a quiet dignity that contrasted with the flamboyant public persona he had maintained for decades. The support system around Nicholson during this difficult period included his children, longtime friends, from the entertainment industry, and medical professionals who specialized in age-related cognitive decline. His family made significant efforts to ensure that he remained as comfortable and engaged as possible, while respecting his privacy and maintaining his dignity during a vulnerable time in his life. Perhaps most significantly, Nicholson's health struggles highlighted the broader conversation about aging in Hollywood and the particular challenges faced by performers whose identities are so closely tied to their mental acuity and physical presence. His situation became a reminder that even the most talented and successful individuals are not immune to the universal human experience of aging and decline, but also demonstrated how grace and dignity can be maintained even in the face of such profound personal challenges. The tapestry of Jack Nicholson's life has been woven with threads of both extraordinary triumph and profound loss, creating a complex emotional landscape that has undoubtedly informed his greatest performances. Throughout his decades in the spotlight, Nicholson has faced a series of personal tragedies and losses that have tested his resilience and shaped his understanding of life's fragility and impermanence. The most devastating revelation of Nicholson's adult life came in 1974, when Time magazine researchers uncovered the truth about his parentage while preparing a cover story about him. The discovery that the woman he had known as his mother, Ethel May, was actually his grandmother, and that his sister June was his biological mother, shattered his understanding of his own identity. By the time this truth emerged, both women had already passed away, robbing him of the opportunity to confront them about the deception or to understand their motivations fully. June had died in 1963 and Ethel May in 1970, taking their secrets to their graves and leaving Nicholson to grapple with this fundamental upheaval of his personal history alone. The loss of these maternal figures was compounded by the mystery surrounding his biological father, a question that has remained unanswered throughout his life. Various theories and potential candidates have been suggested over the years, but the truth has remained elusive, leaving Nicholson with a permanent void in his understanding of his origins. This uncertainty about his paternal heritage has been a source of both fascination and pain, contributing to his complex relationship with identity and belonging. Throughout his life, Nicholson has also faced the deaths of numerous close friends and collaborators who shaped his career and personal development. The loss of director Hal Ashby, with whom he worked on The Last Detail, was particularly significant, as Ashby had been instrumental in helping Nicholson develop his naturalistic acting style. The death of his longtime friend and frequent co-star Dennis Hopper in 2010 marked the end of a relationship that stretched back to their early days in Roger Corman films and their breakthrough collaboration in Easy Rider. The entertainment industry's high mortality rate due to lifestyle-related issues has meant that Nicholson has witnessed the premature deaths of many contemporaries. The drug overdoses, alcohol-related deaths, and suicides that have claimed numerous figures from his generation of actors and filmmakers have served as constant reminders of the dangerous excesses that characterized Hollywood in the 1960s and 1970s. Each loss has been a sobering reminder of his own mortality and the destructive potential of the lifestyle he himself embraced for many years. Romantic relationships have also been a source of both joy and heartbreak for Nicholson. His long-term relationship with Anjelica Huston, which spanned nearly 2 decades with various breaks and reconciliations, ended permanently in the late 1980s, amid revelations of his infidelities and the birth of his daughter Honey with Rebecca Broussard, while he was still involved with Huston. The pain of losing Huston, whom many considered the love of his life, was compounded by the public nature of the breakup and the hurt he caused someone he genuinely cared about. The death of his close friend and neighbor Marlon Brando in 2004 represented the loss of not just a friend, but a mentor and inspiration. Brando had been instrumental in Nicholson's development as an actor, and their friendship had provided him with a connection to the golden age of method acting and the rebellious spirit that had defined his generation. Brando's decline in his later years and eventual death served as a preview of the challenges that Nicholson himself would face as he aged. Family losses have continued to accumulate as Nicholson has aged. The deaths of various relatives and extended family members have reminded him of his own mortality and the inevitable passage of time. Each funeral and memorial service has been a stark reminder of the temporary nature of all relationships and achievements. Perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of loss for Nicholson has been watching his own capabilities diminish due to age and health issues. The gradual loss of his mental sharpness, his ability to remember lines, and his overall cognitive function has represented a kind of death of his former self. For someone whose identity was so closely tied to his wit, intelligence, and creative abilities, this decline has been particularly devastating. The loss of professional relationships and opportunities has also been significant, as health issues have forced him to step back from acting. He has had to say goodbye to the career that defined him for over 5 decades. The knowledge that he will likely never again experience the creative fulfillment and public recognition that came with great performances has been a profound source of grief. Through all these losses, Nicholson has demonstrated a philosophical acceptance that reflects both his natural wisdom and the emotional depth that made him such a compelling actor. His ability to find meaning in suffering and to maintain his essential humanity in the face of repeated heartbreak has been perhaps His greatest performance, one played out in the theater of real life rather than on any movie screen. As Jack Nicholson approaches his 9th decade of life, his existence has transformed from the high-energy, publicity-filled lifestyle that characterized his peak years to a more contemplative and private chapter focused on family reflection and the simple pleasures that come with accepting life's natural rhythms. The man who once epitomized Hollywood's rebellious spirit now lives a largely reclusive life in his longtime Mulholland Drive home, surrounded by the memories and artifacts of an extraordinary career while adapting to the realities of advanced age. Nicholson's daily routine has become markedly different from his legendary party-going days, where he once might have been found courtside at Lakers games, his signature sunglasses reflecting the arena lights as he engaged with celebrities and fans. He now spends most of his time in the quiet comfort of his home. His famous Mulholland Drive compound with its art collection and panoramic views of Los Angeles has become both a sanctuary and a museum of his remarkable life. The house, filled with original paintings by artists like Picasso and Monet, serves as a testament to his sophisticated tastes and the financial success that allowed him to acquire some of the world's finest art. Family has become the central focus of Nicholson's current life. His 5 children from various relationships have taken on increasingly important roles in his daily existence, providing both practical support and emotional connection. His daughter Lorraine, born in 1990, to Rebecca Broussard, and his son Ray, born in 1992, to the same relationship, have been particularly present in his later years. His older children, including Jennifer, born in 1963, to Sandra Knight, his first wife, and Caleb, born in 1970, to Susan Ansbach, maintain regular contact and visit frequently. His youngest daughter, Tessa, born in 1994, rounds out a family that has become his primary source of joy and purpose. The grandchildren that have begun to arrive have brought new energy to Nicholson's life. Despite his cognitive challenges, he reportedly shows remarkable clarity and engagement when interacting with the youngest generation of his family. These moments of connection provide glimpses of the charismatic personality that once commanded movie screens and Hollywood parties, suggesting that while his public persona may have dimmed, his essential humanity remains intact. Nicholson's relationship with his longtime housekeeper and companion has also become crucial to his daily well-being. This individual, whose privacy the family carefully protects, helps maintain his routine, ensures his medical needs are met, and provides the kind of consistent, caring presence that allows him to remain in his own home rather than requiring institutional care. This arrangement reflects both his desire for independence and his family's commitment to honoring his wishes while ensuring his safety and comfort. Medical care has become a significant part of Nicholson's daily routine. Regular visits from healthcare professionals, including physicians specializing in geriatric care and cognitive health, help manage his various health conditions while monitoring his overall well-being. The family has reportedly worked with some of Los Angeles's finest medical professionals to ensure that he receives the best possible care while maintaining as much dignity and autonomy as possible. Despite his withdrawal from public life, Nicholson occasionally receives visitors from the entertainment industry. Old friends like Warren Beatty, with whom he has maintained a decades-long friendship, continue to visit regularly. These connections to his past provide continuity and remind him of the extraordinary journey he has taken from a small-town New Jersey boy to one of Hollywood's greatest legends. The conversations during these visits often focus on shared memories rather than current events, allowing Nicholson to access periods of his life when his memory was clearer and his sense of self more certain. The Lakers games that once provided Nicholson with public enjoyment and social connection have become largely a thing of the past. While he occasionally watches games on television, the energy required for public appearances and the unpredictability of his condition have made such outings rare. When he does make public appearances, they are carefully planned and brief, with family members providing support and ensuring his comfort. Reading, once a passion for the intellectually curious actor, has become more challenging due to his cognitive issues. But he still enjoys looking through photo books and art catalogs. Music remains a source of pleasure, particularly the jazz and classical pieces that have been lifelong interests. These simple enjoyments represent an adaptation to his current capabilities, while maintaining connections to his aesthetic sensibilities. The question of Nicholson's legacy occupies an interesting space in his current existence. While he may not always remember all the details of his career achievements, those around him report that he still experiences moments of pride when reminded of his greatest roles. The 3 Academy Awards, the countless memorable performances, and the cultural impact of his work exist as external validation of a life well lived. Even as his memory of creating them becomes increasingly fragmented, financial security provides Nicholson with options that many aging individuals lack. His careful investments, real estate holdings, and continued residual income from his films ensure that he can afford the best possible care and maintain his independence for as long as possible. This financial cushion also allows his family to focus on his emotional and physical well-being rather than worrying about the costs associated with his care. As 2025 unfolds, Jack Nicholson represents a living bridge between Hollywood's golden age and the present day. His current life, while markedly different from his years of fame and achievement, continues the story of a man who has always lived authentically, whether facing the cameras or confronting the challenges of aging. In his quiet moments at home, surrounded by family and the memories of an extraordinary life, he embodies both the fragility and dignity of the human experience, reminding us that even the most larger-than-life figures must ultimately face the universal realities of time and mortality, with whatever grace they can muster.